Hi, we're Team Fruit Market and this is our Bluetooth data collection system. So our focus is on disease surveillance, particularly in Vanuatu as our starting pilot community. Communicable diseases such as diarrheal disease and respiratory infections like pneumonia are still among the leading causes of death in Vanuatu, and disease surveillance can help prevent potential outbreaks by identifying communities at risk. To do this, we need a system that is fast, intuitive, cost-effective, and works despite lack of uniform internet access. So here's the current situation in Vanuatu. Most people are Christian and attend church on Sundays. Tourism makes up 40% of the income. In tourist areas, there are venues with free Wi-Fi. 80% of the population had a mobile subscription in 2017. Most mobile phones can write text using a basic notepad app or even using the SMS app. Most phones, including old models, have Bluetooth. And knowing this, our proposed solution is to have a simple survey take place every week. We ask each family to write a summary of any ailments they may have experienced during the week into their phone's default notepad program. So each person will record their symptoms in the following format: the age, followed by the gender, a hash, and numbers to indicate symptoms. These symptoms will follow a key that is provided. For example, this code would mean that the person is 31 years old, female, and has experienced a cough, runny nose, and nausea over the past week. One note can have multiple family members, and this allows young children, disabled or elderly people to simply mention their symptoms and the owner of the phone can record it for them. There will be 1 or 2 people in the community that can regularly go to tourist areas for work and can volunteer to collect the survey data onto their own mobile devices. At church gatherings on Sundays, each family can send their note document to one of the nominated people via Bluetooth as they enter the building. Bluetooth allows the transfer to be wireless and fast, with several people being able to send data to one phone with minimal wait in a queue. Once these nominated people have the survey data from all of the families in their community, when they visit the tourist-based areas for their work, they can connect to the free Wi-Fi available, log into their designated Google Village account, and then upload the HTML files in a Google Drive folder. The idea is that each village will have their own Google account to indicate which communities should be investigated if the log symptoms suggest an outbreak. Once this data is uploaded, researchers in disease centers can analyze this data with little time delay. So for our implementation, the first thing to do is to identify the interested villages for this project. Then we'll discuss with the village people what the project is about to gauge their sentiment, and this meeting will tackle things like the need for the program, how the system works, and emphasize that it is purely volunteer basis. The next step is we'll create Google accounts for the interested villages and have a Google Drive folder that is going to act as our central database, and then we'll find volunteers that travel to the tourist-based areas to upload the data for us. We'll also have to train people to use Bluetooth, how to use their Google accounts, and how to use Google Drive folders. We'll also produce posters for these public places so that people can always see the key and understand how to input their symptoms. We'll also produce pamphlets which include information about common diseases and prevention and early signs, include a key and the statement that all participation is voluntary and that some information can be omitted, and we'll also have these translated into English, Bislama, and French. These pamphlets will need to be mostly visual in nature because we can't assume that everyone will be able to read to the same degree. After this, we aim to expand to more villages and potentially another Pacific Island community. For the cost, 3 posters and 80 pamphlets is 133 Vatu. So for an entire community, it would cost less than 1% of one household's income. So there are multiple benefits to our system, and the first is that the Bluetooth that we rely on does not require internet or mobile credit. People already have access to the required resources, and therefore there are no costs incurred by the public to send their data. The data is already digital as the people produce it, so there is no manual paper scanning delays that current systems have. The system is also non-disruptive to their lifestyles because people are already going to these places. People have the choice in how much information they want to share. And this is also environmentally friendly because the only thing we really produce are posters, and those can be recycled. However, as with anything, there are always going to be limitations. There is no guarantee that every family will have access to a mobile phone. Some people might be uncomfortable with their data being transferred to another person in the community and be stored online. The data is also limited. It does not indicate the severity or the duration of the symptoms, and there also is a lack of options for other symptoms. However, despite these limitations, we believe this is still incredibly valuable data. So in conclusion, this is super simple but highly effective. It is low cost, easily integrated with regular activities, and can scale up to a national level with minimal labor.